The Wii is a very interesting console. From its conception in 2006 to its end in 2013, it had sold 101 million units, becoming one of Nintendo's best-selling home consoles. Of course, that would be later eclipsed by the Switch later on. However, the Wii had become a very innovative gaming console for the gaming industry as a whole. It had pushed for a very creative and maybe kind of gimmicky gameplay with the Wii remote mechanics that other companies also tried to emulate themselves with the Xbox 360 Connect and the PlayStation's Move. I kind of forgot the name of the PlayStation Wii cousin or so. Either way, the Wii was definitely a console that I have very fond memories of family game nights on playing Wii Sports or Wii Play, Smash Bros, of course, and very famous Super Mario Galaxy duology. However, I'm not talking about those games. The reason for this video is because of this game right here, The Last Story. Now, if you guys may know, and if you may not know, I love JRPGs. JRPGs are probably the genre that I play the most. And as I was doing a little more research about games on the Wii, I kind of wanted to know more about JRPGs specifically on the Wii. That's definitely the last place you would think to play JRPGs, since again, with the Wii remote mechanics, it just didn't seem like a very viable way to play JRPGs, but I was still interested nonetheless. So again, I picked up this Last Story, and I was intrigued to know more about other JRPGs that could be on the console that I may want to play in the future. Very interesting, love. The Wii is definitely not a console that I would think about collecting for, but after I did more research on the JRPGs on this console, I may kind of want to dive into collecting for this console. Without further ado, I wanted to introduce you guys 8 JRPGs that you may not know that are on the Wii. So without further ado, let's go on to our list. So the first 3 games that I'm going to mention are actually part of a fan-led campaign to push these 3 games to be released in the States. And that is Operation Rainfall. So Operation Rainfall was a fan-led campaign to help convince Nintendo of America to localize these 3 JRPGs for the Nintendo Wii. Those 3 games were Xenoblade Chronicles, The Last Story, and Pandora's Tower. In 2011, it was known that these 3 games were only intended to be released in Japan and Europe, so fans took it upon themselves to start this campaign to get these 3 games released stateside. So in the upcoming year, fans created a Facebook page reaching 12,000 likes. Xenoblade reached number 1 in Amazon Top 100 Games sales, number 1 in all Wii game sales, and number 1 in Wii action game sales as of June 25th, 2011. It seems that Nintendo saw their hard work and effort, and in the following year, April 6, 2012, Xenoblade Chronicles was released, while The Last Story was set to be released for August 14, 2012. As for Pandora's Tower, fans had to wait a little bit longer for its release on April 16, 2013. Now with those first of those games, we have Xenoblade Chronicles, which many of you probably know from Xenoblade Chronicles, the Definitive Edition that released on the Switch back in 2020. That was my first interaction with the game, or encounter with the game, and how I kind of knew about the series as a whole. And how I found out that it was actually originally based a remaster of the Wii port that was released back in 2012. So yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles is definitely one of my favorite games and one of my favorite franchises as a whole, and it's crazy to think that we would have probably never gotten it if it weren't for this fan-led campaign. So Xenoblade Chronicles is an action RPG that takes place in a universe situated once where there was nothing more than an unending ocean until 2 titans, the Bionis and the Mechonis, emerged and engaged in combat until only their frozen corpses were left. They became the habitat for various living forms in the ages that followed their conflict. The people from the Bionis and the machine race from Mechonis had been in a perpetual war with one another. So we follow Shulk and his companions as they travel through both worlds to bring an end to this never-ending war. What's great about Xenoblade Chronicles is that it has now become a very big franchise, and one of Nintendo's biggest franchises, now spanning a total of including this DLC and other spin-offs of the game, it spans a total of 6 games. Recently, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed have just released. I'm currently doing my playthrough right now, and it's honestly amazing. What's really great about Xenoblade Chronicles is the great storytelling, of course the beautiful and stunning open world that you get to explore as you play, and the cool action auto battling mechanics within the game. I definitely highly recommend Xenoblade Chronicles. I've mentioned it time and time again on this channel, and I do not give it enough praises enough, so you guys should definitely check out Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii or the Switch. Definitely most people would say that the Switch version, being the definitive edition, is the best way to play it. I played it that way. I actually recently bought the Wii version because I love the game so much and I kind of want to play it on its original form. So yeah, definitely check out Xenoblade Chronicles. So next on our list we have The Last Story, which is the game that I have in my hands that I recently bought, which is the inspiration for this whole video altogether. The Last Story is another action RPG developed by Mistwalker and AQ Interaction. Quick note, Mistwalker is the development studio founded by Hironobu Sakaguchi, who is known for creating and working for the very well-known and famous Final Fantasy franchise. The Last Story is set in a world where life is gradually being drained from it by an unknown entity on the island castle of Lazarus. A group of mercenaries looking for work on Lazarus are the main subject of the narrative. One of them, Zale, has inspirations of becoming a knight. So what's really cool about this game, it has a very dark, angsty, very broody kind of vibe compared to Xenoblade Chronicles being a very beautiful open world game. It also has really cool stealth mechanics within the game, and the premise seemed really cool, following these group of mercenaries trying to figure out what is the brewing evil going on in this world while also achieving their goals at the same time. Again, I had heard really great things about The Last Story, of course it being developed by Hironobu Sakaguchi, which is like a JRPG legend in our world. So I'm really looking forward to playing this game sometime in the future. It will be on my backlog, which is never ending and always growing. I love how I made a video about how to tackle their backlog, and yet I can't do as you teach, or is that do as you walk, do as you talk? I forgot that saying, but you know what I mean. Like, I have a hard time listening to my own advice. Either way, I'm really excited to play Last Story. So next on our list, we have Pandora's Tower. In Pandora's Tower, a young man named Aaron has to visit 13 separate towers to gather the monster's hearts in order to feed a cursed young girl named Elena. She will turn into a beast herself if she doesn't eat the meat. In the year 511 of the Unified Era, the story is set in the kingdom of Valeria. So what's really interesting about this game is that, again, you follow these two characters, one being I think he's a knight or some like traveler or whatever. I forgot really the whole major premise, but this girl ends up becoming, or has this cursed to become turns into a beast, and you follow the story of how they travel again to those 13 separate towers to find the meat for her to, subside or kind of get rid of her beast curse, as well as their journey and their relationship with one another. I'm sorry if I'm not like explaining this too well, but the premise was very interesting, and I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the reviews of the game, they weren't the best, but again, teach their own. I do believe that everyone should take the time to experience those games, or any game with any kind of a review for yourself, because some people may say this game might be bad, but others might say it's a really good game, so you never know. Either way, I'm excited to know more about Pandora's Tower. Also want to make a little tidbit for you guys. The game is hella expensive. This will be a common occurrence in this video. I don't know what it is about Wii games, and especially they are so expensive. I think you can find this game for a loose copy at roughly around maybe $70 at the cheapest, and with a full in case with a manual and everything and in good condition can go anywhere to $200 to $300, which is insanity. I could buy a whole Switch with that money. But either way, if you are willing to pay it full price or find an emulator to do it, by all means do what you gotta do if you really are intrigued by that game. So next on our list we have Muramasa and the Demon Blade. In Muramasa, the Demon Blade, you are in the world Honoshu, the largest island in Japan, which serves the setting for Muramasa during the Edo era. Conflicts for control of the Demon Blades Samurai swords that require their wielders to kill others before bringing disaster and madness upon them have developed as a result of the ruling shogun Tokugawa Tsunehoshi's ambition for dominance. This is a side-scrolling RPG with amazing combat that many can fall in love with. It's also available on other platforms like the PlayStation Vita. What's really great about this game is that it's also on other platforms like I mentioned, the PlayStation Vita, and it's from the developers Vanillaware, who are known for their games such as Odin Sphere, Dragon's Crown, and of course the very famous one that came out pretty recently, 13th Central Aegis Rim, which I highly recommend to play. But again, this is a really cool side-scrolling RPG, which is not like kind of my forte or a game that I necessarily gravitate to, but I'm trying to, verify. That's not the word I'm looking for. Diversify. That's the word I'm looking for. Diversify my content that I'm playing, and I feel like the art style looks amazing because it's Vanillaware. Our art style is always impeccable, and I'm intrigued by the story as well. So next on our list is Fragile Dreams, Farewell Ruins of the Moon. In the near future, a post-apocalyptic Earth is the setting of the novel Fragile Dreams. The world's inhabitants have virtually all disappeared, leaving abandoned houses and structures behind. The game is set in and around Tokyo, Japan's ruins, which is thought to be the site of the tragedy that almost wiped out the civilization. We play as Seto, a 15-year-old teenager who explores the globe in quest of other living people. Rune is a silver-haired female who frequently leaves behind a sizable enigmatic drawings as someone he runs across. The gameplay combines exploration and adventure with light RPG components like inventory control, character levels, and variety of attacks. This is a game that I was very intrigued about because I have never heard about this game. This is definitely one on the list that I did not know about at all, but I was very intrigued to know more about it. What's really interesting is it incorporates the Wii remote as a flashlight that you use to help spot ghosts and other mystical spirits in the game, which I think is really intriguing that I definitely want to try to get a hold of. I do think that the pricing for this game isn't too expensive, so I definitely want to dabble into this one. So next on our list, we have Rune Factory Frontier. Now, Rune Factory Frontier is a direct sequel to the first Rune Factory game, so I want to let that be known. So Frontier starts with Raguna looking for Mist, a missing girl who has moved to a new town as a result of hearing a voice calling to her in her nightmares. Raguna also settles in the community, relocating to the home with the field next to her. Raguna then learns that the village could be destroyed if the Whale Island in the sky falls. The destiny of Mist and another girl named Iris are intertwined with that of the whale. He then begins to battle creatures in dungeons, gradually establish himself in the Tripoli. After exploring the dungeons, he quickly notices that something strange is taking place. Rune Factory Frontier is an open-ended life sim game like many in the Rune Factory series that many fans of the series and genre can enjoy. And Rune Factory is a series and franchise that I have followed along for a little bit now. I have Rune Factory 4 special on the Switch, as well as Rune Factory 5 that came out, I believe, was it last year, 2022? And I'm really excited for Rune Factory 3 special that's coming out in the summer this year. Rune Factory, again, if you love farming RPG simulation games, this is a game right up your alley. And I've heard really great things about this Wii port as well. Again, it is a sequel of the first Rune Factory game, so I'm pretty sure you probably have to play that one first before you get into this one to make a little bit sense of the game. But overall, it definitely looks like a really fun, cozy game to just chill to. Next on our list, we have Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Another sequel to this list. This is a tactical RPG, which is a direct sequel to Fire Emblem Path of Radiance that was on the GameCube. I won't go into too much detail since I have yet to play the Path of Radiance, but in Radiant Dawn, Binyan has had root authority over the Dain for the past 3 years since the Mad King's War. Micaiah, the silver-haired maiden, and the Dawn Brigade set off on a voyage in search of the liberated Dain. Fire Emblem is a series that I am very familiar with. I have played a plethora of the more recent games such as Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem Engage that came out this past year, as well as Awakening, and the Fates game. So I am very much familiar with the franchise, and I love a good tactical RPG. And this has been a game that has been on my wish list for the longest time. And the reason why I have not had it or played it yet is because it is so expensive to buy. This is probably one of the most expensive Wii games out there. I don't know why again, can you all tell me why these Wii games are so expensive? Either way, Radiant, Path of Radiance is definitely an RPG, tactical RPG that you should definitely try to play at some point if you can get a hands on, or again, emulate if you can. But I definitely want to have that in my collection at some point, but I'm definitely not going to be spending $300 on it. Absolutely not. And the last game on our list that I will be mentioning is Sakura Wars So Long My Love. Sakura Wars is another tactical RPG that also incorporates dating sim and visual novel elements to the game. Players assume the role of Shinjiro Taga, the all-female New York combat review in Sakura Wars 5, So Long My Love, which takes place in a fictionalized late 1920s New York City. What's really interesting about this game is that the players can interact with AI friends while exploring New York City in the adventure mode. A team of varied female fighters may be controlled in a coordinated manner by using mech battle suits that can be used for both ground and air combat. Now, this is also another game that I didn't really know too much about. I did do some more research and found out that there is like a kind of sequel or another entry to the franchise that was released on the PS4 called Sakura Wars. I've heard about that game before, and I'm kind of like been on the fence, but this thing, now that I did more research about this game, it looks really interesting. I feel like for me, I don't really play that many games that have like sci-fi elements to it, so I definitely feel like, or like futuristic elements to it, so I definitely am more intrigued about this game and want to know more about it. I think pricing for this game isn't too expensive to buy physically, so yeah, I'm really excited to dive more into this game and to know more about its world and its lore. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that these 8 RPGs are something that you may be interested to play, and please do let me know if there are other RPGs on the Wii that you have played that you definitely have loved and had fond memories, because I would love to know more, because I'm kind of intrigued to maybe possibly collect for the Wii. Again, I had to add that to the list of other consoles that I've been collecting for, but I'm really, really excited to know more about RPGs, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!